Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. Blood of Zeus Season 1 is an 8-episode Netflix original anime series that revolves around Greek mythology, demigods, and their battle against the giants. Now, this is a type of story that's been done many times before in various movies, animation, comic books, stories, you name it. Greek mythology has been done many times before. But this series tries to do something a little bit different, and I think it turned out a lot better than I thought. And so the main story revolves around this character named Heron and his mother Electra. And Heron just so happens to be the son of Zeus, the god of Olympus, and his mother Electra is human, and so he is a demigod. And so the story goes through this whole journey where he finds out who he is, but at the same time, there's this battle against the giants, the giants that actually fought against the gods. And then prior to that, the Titans. And so that's where the story begins. And then also in the mix, there's demons as well, with this main villain or antagonist, Seraphim, and many other characters that surround this. And so that is the general story. Now, getting into the things that I did enjoy about this series is the story. The story, even though, as I stated earlier, it's been done so many times before, the way that it was told here, I was really surprised. Because initially, I kind of thought I knew what's going to happen. I have seen other stories like this where you have a demigod, their human mother or a human father, and then they find out they are the child of a god, and they go on this journey, like Odysseus or Hercules or Perseus. Any of those stories is very similar to that, but in this one, it takes many turns. Even though some things I could kind of guess what's going to happen, some things that was very unexpected, but even the things that did occur as I thought they would, the way in which they were told was done really well. And so this whole character of Heron, there is definitely a development over these 8 episodes. And the thing is, it's not just focused on him. It is a story about him, his mother, other people involved in their life, and then the gods themselves. The story really sheds more light into their world, why they do what they do, and then also their battle with the giants and how all that wraps together. And so that is something that I really enjoyed about it. The story was very interesting. It kept my attention, and at the same time, it also gave you some surprises that you probably wouldn't expect. And even when it didn't give you surprises, the story just was really paced really well. And so if you are the type of person who enjoys a good story, then this series has it. Second to go with that is, of course, the characters. Now, when it comes to Greek mythology, the characters have been done so many times before. But I really feel what Blood of Zeus does really well with this is it focuses on the characters of the gods, as, being infallible creatures, human-like, and this is something that has been stated many times in other stories. But in this one, I think it digs a lot deeper, especially when it comes to Zeus. His failings as a father, his, responsibilities and irresponsibilities as an imperfect god. And then you have Hera, his goddess wife. They have Hermes, Apollo, Ares, all the gods that you know of, and mentions of many others. They're all here. But at the same time, there's just a lot of depth in them. And I could easily see if this was to have more seasons, you would learn even more about the more human side of these Greek gods. And at the same time, you see how this relates to the human and demon side as well. So there is a lot of deep character stories here and arcs and development, which all help the overall story. And it just made things a lot more interesting and less cookie cutter than most Greek mythology stories. And then another thing I enjoyed was the overall action. This is definitely an adult-rated animation, and so there's lots of violence, blood, guts, and when it comes, it's really good. And the action is done in a way that it just makes sense, where the action really helps the story, and at the same time, they don't hold things back, and so sometimes whenever you're watching animation or just movies in general, they'll throw action in there, but it doesn't really serve the story. In this case, the action is done really well, and it serves the story. And then the final thing I would say enjoyed a lot about this is the overall animation. even though Netflix says this is an anime, I don't really see much of that anime style. But it's very similar to Castlevania, the anime, but that one was more anime, you know. And so you kind of see what I mean when you watch it. The animation overall is done really well, high quality, and then whenever you're watching it, you know, you're just really engrossed in the overall art that they have and everything else. I think the animation here is really good. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, getting into the things that I did not like about this series, I would say very similar to other Greek mythology stories. If you think about it too much, things just don't make sense. For example, they are gods, right? So even though they are imperfect gods, at times they're not as powerful as you would think, and they make really dumb human mistakes. And since they're gods, you know, like what happens when they die? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I know it's been explained in other Greek mythologies, but that's the one thing that always gets me. And so if you don't think too much about, wow, how did that really happen? Then it probably won't bother you, but it did bother me sometimes. And then another thing that I would say, maybe it's not the fault of the series because this is season 1. When you get to the final episode, when you see this culmination of battles and things going on, you just don't learn as much about the other side. You know, there's the Greek gods, there's the giants, there's demons around that. You don't know as much about the other side besides the Greek gods. And so maybe in future seasons, if they might expand upon that. That's not to say the ending wasn't good, because I think it was. It's just that I was left wanting more. And so maybe that was the whole point of that. And at the same time, it kind of left you on I would say kind of a cliffhanger, you know, where you could see, okay, this is where they're heading in season 2. And you see what I mean when you see the final characters in this series. So overall, that's really the only thing that I didn't enjoy about Blood of Zeus. Overall, this was a really great series. Unexpectedly, as a matter of fact, I didn't think I would really enjoy it as much as I did. It has a really great story, characters that are a lot deeper than you would think. And at the same time, at least for me, it really made me want to see another season or more of it because there's a lot more story to be told here. So if you've actually had any thoughts on Blood of Zeus, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my animation type reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators Group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators Group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.